We have finally gotten to the adaptation of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie into the manga, and you can celebrate because it's not too late to get your hands on a piece of the then, now, and forever Gohan merch line that celebrates Dragon Ball Super superhero, the movie, and now the manga, available in t-shirts, multiple different types, and hoodies, as well as different colors and sizes, ships all over the world. This merch line was the most successful I had ever done in the channel, and now is your chance to own Then, Now, and Forever. The link is down below. Chapter 94 of Dragon Ball Super's manga is in the books, and once again a controversy has come out of it involving Ultimate Gohan. At the end of the chapter, we see Gohan, just like in the movie, it's the same thing. He was a Super Saiyan, he's fighting Gamma 1, he sees that Pan's in trouble, of course she's faking it, and he goes from Super Saiyan into Ultimate. And I've seen there's a lot of new Dragon Ball fans. I didn't think there's going to be this many new Dragon Ball fans, but there are new fans being made every day because of how big this franchise is, who are a little bit confused by that. And we're going to try to attempt to answer that here today with this video, this discussion here. I've got Jordan the Dragon Lee over here. You may know him from the Geekdom streams as well as the Dragon Ball X Sayuki videos. That's what we mostly do here on this channel. But I want to do a quick discussion with you about Ultimate Gohan. So the biggest video on my channel, the biggest with the most views, is Ultimate Gohan Explained. And I put that video out during Dragon Ball Super, the anime's run, because it was then that it was fully established that Ultimate Gohan was indeed a transformation. Now, that's not what they said in the original manga. That's not the way it was explained in the Daizenshu guidebooks. The way Ultimate Gohan is supposed to work is that it's basically all of Gohan's latent potential completely externalized for him to use. You know, it's everything he could be maxed out. However, at some point, presumably during the time between the TOP and Superhero, or even before then during the Resurrection F time, Gohan just kind of didn't really know how to tap into this power again. At least he did it a couple times, and he did it during the TOP as well, because he went from Super Saiyan into the black-haired Ultimate form. But to me, it confuses people, because the way it was originally explained in the manga and the Japanese version is that the old Kai tells Gohan, don't use Super Saiyan, there's no point, all it does is waste energy and waste time, just use your latent potential, it's externalized. But now we're back to it being a transformation. And again, I have a detailed video that covers all of this. But again, there's new fans, so I'm going to be discussing this today with you, and let's talk about it.
Well, I think a lot of the confusion comes from the way the manga has framed it in comparison to the anime. So, for example, we didn't get to see the scene in the manga where Gohan goes from Super Saiyan to his ultimate state. That scene was completely cut from the manga.
That was only in the build up to the TOP, the recruitment episodes of the anime.
Yeah. Right. And so all we got in the manga was Piccolo basically saying that all they can manage to do prior to the Tournament of Power was awaken Gohan's battle instincts. Now, the interesting thing about that is that's what Piccolo says in the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Superhero whenever he wants Gohan to become the ultimate state. He basically just says, we can only hope that Gohan activates his battle instincts in order to become his ultimate state. He basically says that as he's losing the Gamma 1. So what we are seeing happen here is exactly what happened whenever Gohan and Piccolo trained with each other prior to the Tournament of Power in the manga. It's the exact same thing, except we're seeing it firsthand. So that tells me that the scene that was in the anime is also implied to have happened in the manga, despite the fact that we haven't seen it. It's still implied that Piccolo helped Gohan activate his ultimate state prior to the Tournament of Power. And I think a lot of the reason that people are confused is because after that happened, and this is something a lot of people get confused about, and before that happened, Gohan was talking about how he had been training in the gravity chamber. And a lot of people just assume that if Gohan's training in the gravity chamber, he's automatically going to get his power back. But that's not the way the series is telling us this works. The series is telling us that he needs his battle instincts in order to appropriately use his ultimate power, not just training alone. And the anime actually said this as well. Piccolo actually told Gohan that training was useless in the Dragon Ball Super anime if he couldn't awaken his original power. Now, one thing that the old Kai also said to Gohan is to fire up the ultimate form just like Super Saiyan. And although Gohan's not transforming, something I think a lot of people forget about Gohan is that Gohan has always been able to experience these bursts of power much easier than Goku, who had to have all of these requirements in order to use his rage through Super Saiyan. Gohan could easily do it at the drop of the hat from the very introduction of his character. And so that's always been Gohan's way of tapping into his latent potential, is feeling these rage boosts that are completely separate from Super Saiyan. So when Gohan says that he's going to evolve in his own way, what he's basically saying is he's going to take advantage of the feelings that the boosts that he's always had as a child in order to evolve, rather than taking advantage of the Super Saiyan transformation. Another thing that was really confusing for people in the manga is that Gohan said that he was going to evolve as a human in reference to Kefla asking him whether or not he would use Super Saiyan. He basically said that I'm not going to use Super Saiyan because I'm going to evolve as a human. But that's actually a mistranslation, and in the actual translation, Gohan said that he's going to evolve in his own way.
Right.
So essentially the idea is Gohan's battle instincts and his rage and all the stuff that they're associating with the ultimate state, the reason that it's being treated as a transformation is because not only does Gohan use his rage to tap into his latent potential, he also has to get into the groove of battle in a similar way to the first time whenever he trained as Piccolo in the original Dragon Ball manga. Essentially, they're treating the ultimate state as a combination of Gohan using his anger to draw out his latent potential, while also using the instincts that Piccolo honed into Gohan whenever he trained with him as a kid. And that's why you'll notice every time Gohan gets his ultimate state back, it's because he trains with Piccolo, and it's a play on the same effect that Piccolo had on Gohan when he was a kid, when he went from being a runt to a warrior. So the way they're treating the ultimate state now is it's essentially a combination of Gohan having his battle instincts awakened in the same way that Piccolo awakened them whenever Gohan was a child, and also using his rage to tap into his latent potential, which means that the reason he can go from Super Saiyan to the ultimate form is because he's using a different source of power to draw out his potential rather than the Super Saiyan technique. He's not using the Super Saiyan technique to draw out his potential. And we learned in Dragon Ball Super and in Dragon Ball in general that Super Saiyan is not only its own mutation, it also has a totally different requirements than Gohan's rage boosts. So Gohan's not using the same method to draw out power whenever he's using his ultimate state. He's using a completely separate method, which is why Gohan can go from the Super Saiyan transformation to the ultimate state, and why it seems so much more like a transformation than it used to be, because the old Kai essentially put Gohan in a situation where he can use what he has always used, his rage, to induce evolution within himself. He's basically taking advantage of the fact that he can use his rage to draw out even more of his latent potential than what we saw in the Buu saga.
One of the most annoying lines of the English dub that's constantly being quoted, and I hate this line, is when Goku says that transforming comes from a need, not a desire. And I hate that line because it completely contradicts everything the Japanese version says. No, what battle instincts are, what Piccolo's referring to, is literally the desire to do battle. It's nothing about a need. Obviously, in Gohan's case, his loved ones being in danger and his protection of the earth and the civilians and the innocents, that's what drives him to be a fighter. But he has to tap into the desire to be a warrior for him to even to properly utilize these techniques, including Ultimate Gohan. Yes, originally the way that Ultimate Gohan was explained to us back in the day, and even in the Daizenshu, it's listed with the Super Saiyan transformations. It's just not a Super Saiyan transformation, but it's in there. It's in the same page. The way it's explained is sort of like a separate thing, but Super sort of, I don't want to say changed it, but it did. I mean, it sort of changed our understanding of what it is, because it sort of now can, I think people thought that when Gohan was Ultimate Gohan, he was always in that state and he was always ready for battle, and Super Saiyan was useless. And then we see him use Super Saiyan in Resurrection F, and people thought he forgot how to do Ultimate. And that's kind of what happened, but it's not that he forgot. It's that he forgot his battle instincts, and that's where the whole thing came from. Basically, what we're seeing here is, like you said, the scene that was in the Dragon Ball Super anime where Piccolo trained with Gohan to get Ultimate back, It's the same thing in the superhero movie and in the manga. It's just that we're seeing the scene happen in this context.
That's right.
And I
That's
think,
right.
yeah, and it goes back to like how people will bring up the differences between the anime, the manga, and the movie, and the different canons that they are. When in actuality, they are multiple canons, but the source of most of the information is relatively the same. Meaning, if something happens in one, it's safe to say it probably fits in the other, even though there are
Yeah.
some differences. Like Beerus does seem stronger in the manga than the anime. There are some. But nevertheless, the idea of the way Gohan and Ultimate Gohan works, I think it still fits with what the Ultimate form did. But I know some people may not remember that episode. I do invite y'all. There's a couple of videos I want you to watch. I'm going to put them on your screen right now. I want y'all to watch the video Ultimate Gohan Explained. It goes into detail. I've done it years ago on the same thing except for the context used in Super Anime. And Jordan that did a video called The Truth about Orange Piccolo and Gohan Beast, which is actually about their relationship and kind of where the idea came from Journey to the West. So with that being said, take care, check out those videos, see you soon.